If you guys are interested in seeing how we're going to study geography together as a family this year, stay tuned. Hi everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm Tanya, doctor lawyer turned homeschooling mom of 3 kids who are going into 3rd, 1st, and pre-K in the fall. Now my kids individually have geography notebooks and geography workbooks that they use to study geographical concepts such as hills and valleys, directionality, compass rose, how to follow directions on a map, etc. That's not what I'm going to be talking about in this video. In this video, I want to focus on how we together as a family, everyone from ages 4 all the way up to my age, are studying geography together. So this year, I am leaving it up to 2 corporations to determine what countries we study this year. One of those companies is called Letters from Afar, and another one is called Universal Yums. First, I'm going to tell you about Letters from Afar. If you have not heard of them, go to Instagram and follow her account, Letters from Afar, because she creates these gorgeous handwritten letters, hand illustrated letters on this type of like coffee stained look of paper. And they're all written by a character named Isabel as she travels around the world. So see here how beautiful the illustrations are. So obviously this letter's from India, which was the first one I got, which I thought was really nice because I'm from India. And it says, Namaste, which is a traditional Indian greeting. I write to you, this time from a land filled with wild adventure and mystery. I have arrived in India. Traveling south on a tottering old train through the great Himalaya mountains, I arrived in northern India and continued my trip by foot. After hours of hiking through the misty mountains, dusk was upon me. So the letter is actually quite sweet. It talks about different little facts, like the difference between Indian elephants and African elephants here. They all have a little partial map, at least, of the country and the flag, and then usually some major landmark. For here, for example, you have the Taj Mahal. It says at the end, for example, I am writing this letter tonight from a tiny passenger boat floating down the river. The air is still and the water is moving slowly. Although the light is dimming, I am almost certain I just saw the flash of orange dashing through the brush on the shore. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I just saw a Bengal tiger. They're quite rare, you know. Only a few thousand remain in the whole world. I hope to return to this wondrous country one day. I won't soon forget its lively cultures and colorful ways. As always, I'm on to the next journey. Until my next letter, Isabel. So I just thought it was an exciting way to decide what to study. So my plan for geography this year is whenever I find out what the next letter from Letters of Afar will be, and she usually announces it on her Instagram, I will then plan some activities out around that country for the next month or so. Another company that I'm using to determine our geographical studies for the month is Universal Yums. Now, if you haven't heard of Universal Yums, it's basically a subscription box service, and you can sign up for a 3-month subscription, 6-month, I believe 9-month, or a year, and each month you can also sign up for different size boxes. For example, one box might only have 6 snacks, whereas another box might have 24 snacks. And each box from Universal Yums features snacks from one particular country. So whatever country they select will be our second country of study for that month. So basically, this is my plan. Each month, we're going to study 2 countries. Whichever one is featured in the letter from Isabel from Letters from Afar, and whatever snacks are featured from Universal Yums. And that provides a really fun kickoff point for how we will study different countries. Another facet of our geographical studies for this year will be from littlepassports.com. I actually had this subscription a couple years ago and stopped using them just because we had other things going on and I ran out of time and we had to move. But now I have a whole bunch of unopened packets of this. This one we actually did open, and it is Japan. I have them all saved, and so if a country comes up where I do have a Little Passports, I will be using this kit as well. And so if you haven't seen Little Passports, they come with a letter from these 2 children, usually a craft to do, a little postcard of a landmark with a description, and then some other craft. So here you have a little origami craft. The kit also usually comes with some sort of 3-dimensional. So here you have a tiny little plastic sushi, and it comes with luggage tags for the suitcase that gets sent with you, and a luggage sticker, and a little flag and map sticker, like a pinpoint, for the initial things that you get when you first sign up for Little Passports. Exciting news though, Kiwi Crates is now doing an Atlas subscription, so they have a boxed monthly subscription box for travel also, and I will explore signing up for that as well. So when I do that, I will share some of those boxes with you, because of all the monthly subscription crates I've ever used, Kiwi Crate has definitely been the most worthwhile in my opinion for the money. We have several of these highlights top secret books that I picked up at a thrift store at one point. So for example, if we were doing Japan, I would pick up the Guide to Japan. If you haven't seen these books, you can often find them at thrift stores or on eBay in whole kits. And they're a little bit out of date now, but they still contain a lot of the key features of that country, including things like several monuments and historical features and just cultural features. They usually have a really nice map and pictures of currency and stamps, etc. For my youngest, I bought these two Swift Walker books, A Continental Journey. I like that they're multicultural. I also like that they're very basic. So for example, here you have one page on Antarctica, one page on Africa, a couple pages on North America, and then you have some more here. So as he travels, so here's Antarctica again, you learn just a few facts about it. And so the character's name is Swift, and as he goes around, he's learned some key things. So for example, here in Africa, you have the Sahara Desert, Mount Kilimanjaro, the Serengeti, the Nile. So you hear these vocab words, but I don't really recommend this for anywhere past kindergarten or so. I'm going to have my third grader actually read this to my younger ones, and it'll be good reading practice for him and just a fun picture book for them to see. Swift Walker also comes with this world coloring book, and I was a little bit disappointed by this coloring book, I'll be honest. I think my youngest will enjoy it, but I don't think it's worth the price, because basically you just have this very vague outline of the continent, and I didn't think that the pictures that they actually chose were so representative of any of these places. So I would suggest the book, but I would pass on the coloring book if I were you. Now, I have shown you guys the Maps book in a separate video, and we use that book very frequently. I'm sure you've seen it in many other people's videos as well. I think the creators of the Maps book also created an activity book, and it's really quite beautiful. I have one for each of my older two kids, and it's one of those books that's almost too beautiful to use, but if you can get yourself to just use all the things, then it's really worth having. So we won't march through this book. I'll probably let my kids choose sometimes what kind of activity they'd like to do from here. So for example, here you have draw a map of an imaginary country. The book is printed on really heavyweight, beautiful paper. You could actually paint on this paper. Here you have color the continents, explore the Amazon, the Mayan language. So here you're supposed to invent your own glyphs. Draw some animals in Australia. Imagine that an alien fleet is invading Tokyo, Japan. I think these are gorgeous. I actually wish that I had a way of binding this to save it in our geography portfolio. Design and color a pattern for kimono. So these are just gorgeous books. I really highly recommend them. This Is My House is written and illustrated by Arthur Doros. It's a book that I really like. We've read it several times. It shows you different types of homes from around the country. I like that it includes the language of the region as well as just the pronunciation guides for how to say "this is my house" in the different languages. And it's just a really cute picture book. We've read it every year so far. Another book we like to keep in morning basket is If You Lived Here, and it shows Houses of the World by LaRoche. Here you have Native American adobe houses. Here you have cave dwellings. The illustrations are really quite beautiful, and the descriptions are very detailed. So if you have older kids to younger kids, I think everyone can get something out of this picture book. Here's Venice, castles and moats, a village, Greece, African hut. Here you have a yurt. It's always a fun word to see. And an Airstream trailer. So really lovely book. Two of the books that I most like for maps is this one that I picked up at a thrift store a really long time ago called Maps, The World in the United States by Teacher's Friend Publications. And I just really like the clear maps that they have. So they have all the different states with independent maps of them, as well as like a United States map and a blank map. They give you this sheet for a country report for different countries, and I believe they have a sheet for state report as well. So they have major rivers and lakes, deserts and mountains. Let me see, yeah. And they have a state report sheet as well. And then for the country section, you have countries of the world, And then it goes through and it gives you a labeled version and a not labeled version of all the maps for kids to practice. So as we get different countries to study, I'll probably make 3 copies of whatever relevant page there is. So for example, if we were studying Brazil, I would copy the 2 Brazil pages and let them practice the different countries surrounding Brazil, etc. Another book that I like very much for their maps is the Evan Moore Grades 3 to 6 World Reference Maps and Forms book. This has 92 maps, and they are also very well done. I like that it includes a little bit of world facts, a list of the countries of the world, and then again, similar to the last book, a labeled map and the same exact map unlabeled. So here you have Western and Eastern hemispheres, Northern and Southern, lines of latitude and longitude. I actually like this book much better than the Evan Moore geography books, like a geography question a day. I find those a little bit dull, though we do have some of them. So deserts of the world, and then you have North America, and then a political map as well. The physical map with rivers and mountains, etc. You have Canada, for those of you who are Canadian homeschoolers, with territories, provinces, several pages, Eastern Canada. And then you have the United States with a political map, a physical map, and they separate it out into different regions of the United States. They have Mexico, and they separate out regions of Mexico. So I really like the global focus of this map, where you have Africa, and then again separated out by regions. So Evan Moore did a really good job of paying equal attention to the different continents here. Before each continent, they have the number of independent countries, some facts like area, population, highest elevation. So if you are doing sort of journaling for geography, this is a really good one-stop shop book for you. Another book that we'll be using in our exploration is the National Geographic Little Kids' first big book of the world. National Geographic makes gorgeous books, as I'm sure you know, not the least of which is because of the quality of their photographs. Their photographs are amazing. So this book includes things about countries, animals, land and weather, sites, different spotlights, the people of the country. There's little fact boxes scattered throughout, as well as little pop-up facts. So they make it very graphically interesting for the kids. They show you the difference between a political map and a geographical map, or a physical map. And then they split it out by different continents. So here you start with North America. And if you want to see, it's very basic. It's perfect as an addition to your morning basket because it's not going to take too long, but you'll be able to move through it well. It's not the best book for separating out a study of countries. It is a really good book for like early elementary where you're just studying mostly about the different continents. So as you're talking about South America here, they might talk about some main countries, but they're not going to talk about any one country in detail. So for each continent, they talk about these different topics, the different countries, the land, the rivers and lakes and such, the weather, the people, the animals, the sites, and a little explorer spotlight. So here they chose volcanoes, and so on and so forth. And then they have a little activity here for each continent as well. So here they have the Michelangelo painting activity for Europe. Let's see what the activity is for Asia. Design a mosaic. See, so I really like that they include different activities. It's a nice way of introducing your younger children to the global studies. Another morning basket book for geography is Tales from Around the World. I think geography is the perfect subject for morning basket. We actually don't do morning basket, by the way. We do afternoon basket after lunch. And it basically has stories from different countries. The different countries they include in this book is Japan, Native American tales, Vietnam, Panama, Africa, Australia, an Aboriginal tale, Assam, India, a Persian tale, Norway, Czech tale, an Irish one, and an Italian tale, to give you an idea. So, as I said before, if we get a country from Africa in our Letters from Afar subscription, we might read this story that month. And that's how I'm going to be using these books. I'm not marching through any one of these books. I'll try to dive in and out of these books as they relate to the country that we're studying that month. The Children's Amazing Places Encyclopedia by Paragon is another beautiful book. This one was actually published in 2009. The way it's separated out, again, is not by country, but rather by topic in geography. So fantastic features like the River Nile or the Matterhorn, exciting events like rivers of ice or volcanic islands, the earthquake zone, amazing habitats, the Arctic, the Sahara, the Amazon, ancient wonders like Stonehenge or the pyramids, spectacular cities like London or New York, people and places, Versailles, Mount Everest, astonishing structures, the Eiffel Tower, the Taj Mahal, incredible technology, the London Eye, the tallest building in the world in Dubai. And so this is a nice morning or afternoon basket book as well, because every page is interesting, it's new, it's quick, and it's a really nice way of just exploring the world in a less structured way. The Usborne Children's Picture Atlas is a really, really nice intro atlas. I think it's very pretty. If you don't want to invest in the maps book, this is a really pretty way of introducing geography to your younger kids especially. I think it is perfect for kindergarten and below. And it just talks about different aspects of geography, like different biomes. It has these beautiful illustrated maps with the different animals that are found on the different continents. I really like this map of Australia because it includes so many of the different islands. I don't know about you guys, but geography is not my strong suit, and I'm very confused about where all these islands are. I'm sure you've already heard of this book, Me on the Map. It is, like, hands down, one of the best ways to introduce to your kids the idea of what geography is. It starts off with a child mapping out their own room, then their house, their street, their town, their state, their country, and the world, and it just builds out. And if you look on Pinterest, there's so many activities associated with this book. Maps and Globes by Sabrina Crew, and published by Children's Press. Again, just a really simple book that I picked up at the thrift store once, just about what a map is, how you make a plan, what symbols are, using different colors. This tells you how to make a compass and has some other little activities in it as well. Where am I? When you're little, honestly, if you can get the concepts of like how to follow a compass rose and like what a map is and directionality, I think you've achieved a lot already. The Usborne Sticker Picture Atlas of the World has 350 stickers inside it. It is split out into different continents or continental regions. And like so many other Usborne books, it is just beautiful to look at. Very similar to the Children's Atlas from Usborne, it has this type of layout with a map and then places to put stickers of different things found in that area. So you'll have, like, for example, here an oil well, a jackal, the pyramids of Giza stickers, and it just goes on like that. It's really almost too beautiful to use. And here are all the sticker pages for the kids. So really gorgeous. This is one of the books from the Build Your Library curriculum by DK. It's Children Just Like Me. And it's also a really, really nice book. It gives you a way of seeing what children live like around the world. So here you have Russia, you have Poland, here you have Brazil, Bolivia, and so on and so forth. And it features a variety of different countries around the globe. Last but not least, I will be using Galloping the Globe by Geography Matters. This is not a secular resource, but I bought this at a thrift store, and what I'll be using it for is basically for some of the resources they provide. For example, they have these nice pages with a country and like a little place for features, but also they have a little section for people and history and different book suggestions. They also have some general reference books that they list out, some other just fiction literature, some science, so if studying Galileo, do a unit on astronomy, some internet resources, some vocab, and then they have some projects. So here you have Color or Make a Flag of Italy. It tells you a little bit about the Italian flag, a map of Italy, learn 1 to 10 Roman numerals. It's a way of doing unit study about geography without you having to do all the work. There's no reason for us as homeschool moms to reinvent the wheel when people have already done things for us. For example, here you have paint in the Michelangelo project where you paint lying on your back. Listen to the story of Verdi by the Music Master series. Make gelato, and some books on making Italian food. I really like it. If you are Christian, it includes Bible passages that you can read in relation to this. And if you're studying astronomy, they have Bible passages for you as well. I don't know what that means. Then they have like a blank flag picture, and then they have some other little activities like mazes, word searches. I probably won't do any of those, but I really like the resource list that's provided in Galloping the Globe. So if you happen to pick one up, or if you're interested in a unit study book for geography, this is one that I would recommend. Last but not least is this gorgeous book called A Child's Introduction to the World, Geography, Cultures, and People, From the Grand Canyon to the Great Wall of China by Heather Alexander and illustrated by Meredith Hamilton. There is a globe and stickers inside right here that you can build. I actually haven't opened it yet, but it is organized by where you are and then welcome to the world, so different continents and countries within that continent, or at least regions. The Where Am I section tells you about the Big Bang, the galaxies, what the difference is between night and day, what the tectonic plates are, how different explorers explored the globe, what it means to live on a globe, on a sphere that's rotating and hurtling through space, different times in terms of like different time zones and why we have different time zones, maps, how to read a map. So I would definitely say for a little bit of an older crowd, probably upper elementary and beyond, but I think my son will be really interested in exploring this book. The map pages are quite lovely and the descriptions are detailed without being exhausting. So here, for example, in the western United States, you have a little history section as well. Lewis and Clark go west. You also have little science with what is a volcano. I like that the maps include some things that typical maps might not, like Los Angeles is the second largest city in the United States. Hollywood is the motion picture capital of the world. My son likes books like this where there's a lot of little things to explore. Again, another book that I would definitely recommend, especially if you have upper elementary to middle school kids. I think this is a really, really nice book. So while I'm reading some of the simpler picture books to the girls, I might let my son explore these books on his own during afternoon time. And there's an index, which is always super helpful when you are creating a geography curriculum. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching this video. If you guys have any other questions about how we study geography or want to hear an update about how it's going throughout the year, please let me know. Don't forget to check out Universal Yums and Letters from Afar. I'm not an affiliate for any company or anything. I just think it'll be a really fun way of exploring the globe without too much pressure on me to pick out exactly what countries we're going to study or anything. So this is my lazy eclectic mom's guide to studying geography with the kids. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for giving me your time, you guys. If you have other great geography resources that you think I am missing out on, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. Have a great day.